Hello, people. Hey, it's me, Kirsten. This is the It's Giving Mystical podcast, and this is your weekly podcast for the week ahead. I guess it's the week of September 28th. That's so crazy. Where'd you go, September? What's happening? What is time? This month has been a doozy, and we knew it was going to be, right? Like, I knew it was going to be. I talked about it, podcasted about it, shared about it. The Hermit and the Tower together is such major energy around completion and liberation, which normally don't come without some pain points. Normally doesn't come without a little bit of discomfort here and there. We also had weekly podcasts that talked about the Death card, that talked about the Strength card. And the week ahead, we're going to be talking about the Lovers card. So that's 3 major arcana cards in a row. And for those of you following along, that means big energy. The way I describe that is like those are the Sharpie lines. These are the things we cannot avoid. The topics, conversations, relationships, encounters, investigations, projects, art, service, karma, dharma that we cannot avoid. The major arcana are the dark Sharpie lines. Like, someone put that stuff on our map before we came into the show, and we are not getting out of this without encountering these moments, these energies, these archetypes, these experiences. So I just want to recap for September that this was not an easy month. And I wanted to say something about Tower energy in particular. There's a way in which Tower energy is usually pretty obvious. So when Tower energy comes, when these things get crumbled, the things that fall down are these things we've built with a very keen perception of being witnessed, with a very keen perception of how we appear, who we are, the roles that we play, the image we want to cultivate, the image we want to present, the person we would like to be. And depending on how far away from that our actions are is a whole other conversation. But for the purpose of a tower, I want you to imagine that as you build your life, you kind of build these little structures, these little towers, like a little city, this little city. This is the city of Kirsten. This is when the world sees me, feels me. This is the world. This is the feeling. This is the energy that comes to mind. And we animate these towers with our light. Right, we're like, this is my role as a mother. See it? Everyone see it? What do you think? How do you feel about it? Do you like the way I painted it? I'm filling it with my light. I'm animating it. And then when Tower energy comes, those things crumble. So it can be relationships, it can be situations, it can be contracts, it can be projects, experiences, work. There's so many things. But usually there's the sense that I can point to it and you can look at it and we can say, right, that thing was there and now it's not. That thing is falling apart. That thing's crumbling. And there's something about that community witnessing, that collaboration, that collusion of like, you see this? You see this, what's happening? That your friends, your family, your supports you have in the 3D world can look at you and be like, yeah, man, I see that. I see that that was one way and now it's another. There's a relief in that. There's like a sense of objectivity in that makes the towers, while they might be difficult to live through, there's something about us standing apart from it, looking at it, being like, do you see this? And feeling the support of your community in the witnessing of it, in the pointing to it. But here's why I'm bringing this up. There's another way in which Tower energy comes up, and that is much quieter, and it's much more raw, and it's much more vulnerable, and it's much harder to talk about. And that's when the Tower pulls away, drags away, dissolves these structures that you've used to hold yourself up internally. Narratives, nervous system responses, psychology, symbolism, like these things you've kind of cultivated internally that are I don't want to say false structures because it's just the humanity of it. It's just the way we build an ego and a sense of self and a sense of individuality. But we have the sense of like who we are on this deep level, that internal framework with which we kind of understand ourselves and perceive the world. When that gets hit in a Tower moment, it can be really confusing. It can be really disorienting. And really because it's not something you can really talk about. It's not something that the brain, the language really has a firm grasp on. It's just this feeling. It's just this feeling that I feel different. I am thinking about things differently. I am feeling things differently. I am perceiving things differently. It is a good thing. It is a good thing. But the way it happens is in this very subtle pre-language type of shift. And it's like you picture like the tide pulling at a dune. It's just kind of this like drawing away of these structures that have felt familiar for a long time but don't serve us. Again, these structures that make us feel fortified. And I hope you can feel that this month. Fortification is not the way to peace. Fortification is not strength. Fortification is not power. Fortification is certainly not joy. Fortification is definitely not union, definitely not connection. The energy of September has been this drawing away of not only the external structures that we can all point to and look at and comment on, but also these internal shifts, these internal drawings away. Does that make sense? The drawing away, can you feel that? There's like these things I used to stabilize myself against no longer exist internally. It can feel really raw. It can feel really vulnerable. And it can feel really confusing, disorienting. But again, not in a way that you can quite verbalize. So you might grasp for it. And that's where that term shadow comes from, right? Like you turn towards it. You see it out of the corner of your eye and you turn towards it and it disappears. That's this energy. Like there's something shifting here, but I'm not even sure what it is. I don't even know what it means. And for those of us that like to make meaning, which is, spoiler alert, all humans. For those of us that like to make meaning, it can be really confusing. So I just want to like say that out loud because I think it's important. I think it's important to understand that this drawing away, this reshuffling, this dismantling of our fortifications is happening not only out in the world, but internally as well for everyone. And some people are more or less willing to sit with the raw vulnerability of that. It would behoove you. I would say it benefits you. I would say there's something about standing there in this nakedness, that standing there in with more of your light exposed, more of your source energy exposed, less structure around that, less fortification around that, which can feel uncomfortable, standing naked here in the surf. But it's a re-knowing of yourself that actually feels quite good and quite powerful on the other side of it. So I'm just wondering how that's landing for you. And I just want to kind of say that out loud in case you've had that experience this month, in case you've had that experience of, yes, things changing on the outside, but something else is happening much more deeply on the inside. And that's the hermit energy, right? It happens in the quiet dark. It happens in this place of real vulnerability. And it's brave, it's courageous to allow it, to stay with it, to stand there in your raw vulnerability with it. I think that there's a beauty to that. And the Lover's card coming in this week says to me that the universe, the world, your evolution, your higher self also sees the beauty in that. And you won't be standing there alone forever. I don't know how else to say that. The Lover's card is about union, about co-collaboration, about connection, about harmonizing what was, about harmonizing the fraughtness of a 5, right? 6 energy comes in. Oh, look, there's been this conflict, this challenge, this creativity, this tension. And the 6 comes in like a beautiful summer breeze, blow itself across the beach and blow itself across your skin to say, I got you. You're not doing this alone. Harmony is not something you have to manage on your own. And it comes back to, I'll just say this last thing again, it does bear repeating. There's something about those outside structures falling and you can lean on your community. When the inside structures start shifting, what do you lean on? What do you lean back on? And I talked about that a lot last week in that weekly podcast, but what do you lean back on? Please do that. Your angels, your guides, your prayer, your practice, your breath, your faith, your feet. Feel that. Allow that to hold you when you're not really sure how to hold yourself in this new space. Okay, so lovers for the week ahead. It's a beautiful tie into October. The monthly energy for October is the Wheel of Fortune, Karma, the wheel turning in your favor, Destiny, Fate, and the Star card, which is the most nourishing, most lovely, most soul satisfying energy in the deck. It's just this place of deep rest and rejuvenation and replenishment and nourishment. So those two cards coming in together, I know that there are these pretty major eclipses. This full moon happening tonight is no joke. And so I know the astrology says there's going to be a lot of change in the month ahead. My hope, feeling into the numerology, feeling into the tarot of this month ahead, is it actually is coming with real blessings. I'm really interested in how these eclipses arrive, how the dramatic change that they often herald arrives, because there's something quite bold and beautiful and blessed about this. So when the Lover's card comes in to kind of cap off this September week and lead us into October, normally this doesn't come through as clearly in the Lover's card, but it's coming through very clearly, this fatedness, this destiny, this what's going to meet you in your new place, what's going to meet you in your rawness, what's going to meet you in your vulnerability, the sense of you filling out the space of you in a new way, so that whatever comes to meet you at the boundary line, the universe coming, other people coming, other projects, other inspiration, other work, other money, there's something coming to meet you. It's meeting you so fully, so beautifully, so harmoniously, because you have stayed with yourself in this kind of in-between place while the world changes order, while things get pulled away. And you trust that. You trust yourself to stay present in that, to stay with yourself, even in this transformation, even in possibly the discomfort that comes along with it, the confusion that comes along with it. The Lover's card is always a choice. It's a fork in the road, a decision. And the decision often comes down to the fundamentals of, do I choose me or do I choose us? Do I choose me or do I choose union? Do I choose me or do I choose connection? That's what's going to come up this week. So be aware of that. And I really encourage you to take your time. I know I always do, but it always helps, especially around your yes and your no. We talk a lot about the somatic yes and no, your body's response to the world. Can you trust your body opening to something and your body closing to something as a yes and as a no? But this idea of every no is actually masking or masquerading a deeper yes. So recognize that when you say no, even if that's uncomfortable, you're actually saying yes to something deeper. So know what that is. Like, where are your yeses in your life? Where are your deep, full-bodied, full-hearted, joyful yeses? It's a question. Write it down. Take some notes. Journal on that. What are my absolutely clear yeses right now? Because that's connected to this raw vulnerability. Like, there might be a lot of things I don't know in this moment of transition, but there are some things I'm damn sure about, and I'm going to navigate from that place. That navigation, the sense of fated destiny of something, of the universe in form coming to meet you, is very real and very alive in the Lover's card this week. There's something about when it comes to meet you, your willingness to trust your yes and your no. And I bring into that this conversation around scarcity. You're allowed to say yes fully, and you're allowed to wait to say yes until you are 100% a full yes. And it's okay to trust your no if it's coming from your depth. It might look so good on paper. The thing might look like just the thing I want. It checks all the boxes. And my body's like, no way, man. Or even like, I don't think so. The scarcity mindset that lives in our culture will say to you, like, take what you can get. Take what you can get. You asked for this thing. Here it is. It's good enough, isn't it? I would encourage you in this moment to ask for more, to be bolder, to be patient, to wait, to stay put, to stay in your neutrality until you can be a clear yes or a clear no. The world will keep worlding, life will keep lifing, things will keep changing and unfurling, situation after relationship, after moment, after breath, after experience. And if you can be in I don't know until you're sure, it will resolve itself. It will reveal itself, and you will know. And you will know when it's time to say yes or to say no, to move on or to move forward. That is the beauty of the Lovers. The Lovers wants more harmony for you and for the world. And it's teasing you, it's testing you, it's intriguing you with what that might look like. So October in general is going to be just this month of beautiful rejuvenation and karmic encounters, fated meetings, fated revolutions of the wheel. There's something about the wheel always turning in your favor. There's something about the 10 energy, the 0, which is the divine protection, God's protection, source's protection of your vibration, of your song. 10 energy is like the wheel's turning because the world needs to meet you, match you at this crossroads. And the Lover's card is the crossroads. And the star energy is like, you've worked for this, you deserve this. There's something really beautiful here. Just like pour one out for September, man. It was not an easy month. A lot happened, a lot is shifting, and a lot is going to be revealed in the months to come about what has transitioned and transpired in this last month. It was such an important moment. And October, although the astrology says it's going to be wild, the numerology and the tarot feels like a beautiful blessing. That's the best way to say it. The Wheel of Fortune and the star, the 10 and the 17, they're just beautiful energies. There's something mysterious about it, something magical, something destined, something fated. So let this Lover's card lead you from September to October. Let a little bit of mystery remain. Stay with yourself. Wherever you find yourself, stay in your places of yes. Stay in your places of yes. And let the crossroad like appear for you. Let the choice appear to you. Let the world meet you. Let fate come, celebrate you, and I don't know, applaud who you are today, who you are now, and who you are in this body at this moment. I know how hard it's been. I see it, I hear it, I'm with it in my own life, I'm with it in so many of your lives, and at the same time, I see this fullness arising in people that is such a blessing to witness. And I know it's an empowerment for them in their own lives, but it's also an empowerment for all of us in the world and how we operate and how we serve and how we release and liberate more love into the world, which is kind of, again, like the whole show. Like to be here now in as much liberated love as possible, as much depth of consciousness as possible. That's what I think we're here to do. Enjoy this like smooth ride into October. Enjoy what comes up, and you have the October monthly channeled forecast coming out on Monday the 2nd. I'll also have your tarot scopes for each sign there, and I just love y'all. Love life. Love the curiosity that is living. It's kind of amazing. And I love watching it reveal itself. Such a gift to sit back and watch it be revealed versus force yourself into momentum that you don't need to force yourself into. Lean back, baby. Lean back. All right, big kiss. It's giving everything is sacred. It's giving art. It's giving light you up and turn you on and set you free. It's giving curiosity. It's giving freedom. It's giving love. It's giving you are more magical and powerful than you can comprehend. It's giving, I don't know what's happening, but I am so here for it. It's giving you are pure potential. It's giving mystical.